should. You just connecting Facebook to go live. Let's see. All right, hi guys. Glad to see all of you joining in. Let's just take a minute just so that everyone comes into the webinar. It's an exciting day for us. This is the third Antira webinar we are hosting, and we have a superb guest today, a really exciting topic to talk about, something I'm personally also excited on. So just before we get into the nick of things, I just want to give a small introduction about Antira Solutions, what we've been up to so far. So we've been working as an integrated agency for the last 5 years, and helping brands take a global presence and focusing really on the performance marketing side of things. So the webinar you're joining today is the third of such Antira webinars we've hosted in the past. We had a really exciting discussion about in terms of how do you take conversational e-commerce and plug that into your brand. We talked about WhatsApp marketing in our first webinar, where we talked about chatbots and how to develop different chatbots to suit your brand. The last webinar we had, we talked about how do you accelerate your e-commerce sales. So we talked a lot about the different components that comes into play when it comes to taking your brand from an e-commerce angle, and that's an area we are really focusing on for our clients, and an area I think is bound to grow in time. So today's webinar is very exciting for us. Before I introduce our guest, who you can see on the other side, I want to talk a bit about the topic today. So the topic today is, how do you take your brand globally through TikTok? So how do you reach a wider audience for your brand internationally? And TikTok has blown up over the past several years. It's growing at a tremendous rate. There are so many perception about what TikTok is, what kind of a usage it is. For those who are not really, I would say maybe there's misconceptions we could sort of clarify today as well. So before we get into the platform itself, I want to talk a little bit about taking a brand internationally. So for us as an agency, one of the key things to international marketing is that gone are the days that you focus on one channel and try to create your presence. It's always about how do you manage your digital ecosystem. So you have your website, you have your search engine optimization, you have your social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You have your paid ads, you have your organic traffic, you have your corporate brand presence that you need to build. So it comes down essentially on how you really enhance your digital ecosystem, globally. You might be a small brand with a little budget. You might be a high-end multinational that has a lot of dollars behind your pocket. But either way, you can really devise a strategy to suit your budget, is our opinion. So without further ado, I would love to introduce our guest today, Vaibhav from TikTok. Hi, Vaibhav. Can you hear
Hi,
us?
Naveen. Nice
Hi.
to meet you. Nice to meet everybody as well. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
My name is Vaibhav. I'm from the Singapore team here at TikTok, and I work in the channel partnerships team here that majorly deals with agency. And this webinar is, a way in which we can also have a closer relationship with our clients, such as Antira Solutions for that matter. So thank you so much for having me on the call.
That's great, Vaibhav. And thank you so much, Vaibhav, for joining the webinar. And he's been tremendously helping us, working with, putting TikTok into place for our clients also. So Vaibhav, I want to start off with some really basic questions, because even before the webinar, I got a few questions in terms of, the certain conceptions about TikTok. So
Okay.
can you just give us a small intro what TikTok is? Because I mean,
Mhm.
for an older generation, in my opinion, they are not really active on TikTok. I myself is quite ad hoc on TikTok, but it's catching up really fast. You can't escape from the platform.
Okay. Are you counting yourself in the older generation?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a conception people have. So what do you take on it? How do you describe TikTok? What kind of a channel it is? I mean, Instagram, Facebook, there are different ways you engage with the platform also.
For
How
sure.
do you introduce TikTok?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I think it is like a pretty misconception there that a lot of people assume that TikTok is just for the younger audience. Now, I do agree that, like a whole big chunk of the user base is the younger audience, but it's a very big user base. So even a small percentage of, users over the age of 35 or 40 for that matter, is a pretty decent number. It's a pretty big number. And if you actually consume the content on TikTok, it'll automatically break that myth, because you'd see that there are so many people over what we would assume for them to be doing TikTok. They're over that age group and they're still there.
Yeah.
And pretty much we see a lot of traction even from the older audience. I mean, this also kind of can be proved in another way, that a lot of fintech products, a lot of automobile kind of
Mm.
campaigns, they work very well on TikTok. Now that's something which you would look at a higher age group, but we have
Mm.
that age group on TikTok, and they're kind of there, they're kind of really growing with the platform. I
Yeah.
think it's a platform that slowly grows on you. So
Yeah.
my advice would be download it, see it for yourself, and I
Yeah.
bet you'll get addicted to it.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at, I think from a brand perspective also, all the platforms, social media platforms that came on about really aged with the audience. Even
Yeah,
Facebook has that scene. So I mean, if you're really serious about your brand, I think this is just, you're just seeing your future ahead of us. You can really plan for TikTok as well. So
yeah,
I mean, looking at the growth in which it's growing, I feel that that's definitely a consideration for any brand, or anyone who's like looking
yeah.
seriously about taking their brand digitally to a wider audience. So I think for us to start off, Vaibhav, I think before we start onto the nitty-gritties, the main core focus for us today will be the marketing aspect of TikTok. We might not really touch on how to create a TikTok video, what kind of dance moves you can do. I mean, those are things definitely you can enhance on yourself creativity. But I think we wanted to introduce something really interesting for this webinar, like things that we might not have been exposed to as an audience from Sri Lankan context. We've gone through your advertising platform, which is amazing. There are, I think, Viber will have a lot of
Yeah.
things to talk about it. So I want to touch a bit, Viber, maybe starting off with the questions for
Sure.
the audience also to understand about the platform. How do you sort of optimize, the TikTok ads per se? Like, what do you think about, what are the key factors when it comes to TikTok advertising? You can maybe give us a bit of a very basic introduction
Yeah.
about how the TikTok advertising works, because when it comes to
Right.
Facebook, we are familiar with the video ads, the static ads, and you have a carousel ads, stuff like that. How does TikTok advertising work? What is it about it?
All right. So, okay, to give you a context, TikTok
Yeah.
is a heavy video focused app. It is video
Correct.
first app. So the content that you would see there is, quite different from the content that you would see elsewhere. Which is why, like if you look at the tagline as well, if you look at the goal of TikTok, or you look at the mantra, so to call it, for TikTok, is to inspire creativity and bring joy. That's basically our mantra. And
Yeah.
coming from that, it's a very creative platform. So the very first step to success in TikTok advertising, to get your brand shout out on TikTok, is creatives. You have to be very, very particular about the creatives in TikTok. If you see TikTok, it's a short form mobile video app. Yes. So what happens over there is basically the users are used to seeing short videos that ultimately also kind of, fix their attention span to the content. And
Mhm.
so your ads have to be catchy, they have to be
Right.
short, and there needs to be something that catches their interest in the first 5 seconds.
Mhm.
So, creatives is like a key element when it comes to TikTok. You have the right creative, your campaign can go viral. Of course, towards the later part of this webinar, I'm going to have some examples and some ideas for you. But in a nutshell, the very first thing is creative. You got to be very careful about it. It's not the same norm that you would follow with other platforms out there. So pay a lot of attention to the creatives that you would put on TikTok if you're
Mhm.
looking at a brand success on TikTok.
Yeah, yeah,
That's,
and yeah.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
that's very true, Vaibhav. I think the approach to TikTok, you need to get off to the general mindset of creating static posts, your image posts for face. Even if you compare certain channels like Instagram and Facebook, you tend to look at it from a very maybe promotional point of view also. But you can do that for TikTok also, but it has to be creative. It has to be video driven.
Exactly. I mean, it's a creativity is like the baseline of it. It's a platform where people express their creativity. So your ads need to be a notch higher than that. You
Mhm.
kind of got to be
Yeah,
very careful with it.
yeah.
That's
And
one.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure you have some really good case studies for us to share also. So
Sure.
I want to
Sure.
get into it. Yeah, another question, Vaibhav, in terms of TikTok, there's the understanding that, it's good to create brand awareness, but like, we come from a very performance-based marketing point of view. So when it comes to e-commerce and maybe even travel and hospitality, the main focus is that, you will always have your brand
Yeah.
awareness campaign, which is also important, but also you want to look at maybe certain short-term things. How do you optimize your advertising for performance? How do you run ads for focused on getting conversions? Is that something that the TikTok platform can help with? Does that have that capacity?
For sure. So this actually brings me to the second part of your first question, which
Mhm.
is basically more to do with the campaign goal as well. So the
Right.
success of your campaign also depends on what your campaign goals are and how you're planning around it. So yes, as you mentioned, brand awareness is a major chunk as well when it comes to TikTok. Also a pretty good chunk if you look at performance marketing.
Mhm.
It's a myth, as you mentioned, that a lot of people think that okay, it's an amazing platform for brand presence.
Yeah.
There's this huge amount of audience and there is this amazing advertising products that can resonate with the users. But when it comes to conversions, we also have something called as an auction platform, which is
Right.
in the most simplest words a programmatic sort of a platform where you can get access, you can optimize your campaigns, you can install, you can have post install events tracked as well on it. We are pretty much integrated with all the top app attribution platforms. We have all the tracking measures in place, so you can pretty much set up a kind of ecosystem where you can optimize your campaigns very effectively. But also another key element in this is a lot of people, what they would look at is they would want to run a real quick test, see if the platform's working for their campaign, and if
Yeah.
not, they want to kind of move out of it.
Mhm.
Important aspect here is giving it some learning time. We have
Yeah.
a very strong machine learning in place, so we kind of understand, study your campaign while it's running. And I mean, I would say on an average, if you're looking at a conversion based campaigns, at least give it 50 to 70 conversions before a system can jump into core optimization. So
Mhm.
it's also a little bit about taking a little time to let the system optimize, and then eventually you can get performance out of the platform as well. So yes, breaking that myth, it's not just for branding, it is
Yeah.
very much for performance clients as well. And of course, we have a lot of case studies to support it as
Yeah, yeah, and then being connected to as an advertising partner for TikTok, we've seen the platform firsthand, and I mean there's quite a bit of things a brand can
well.
sort of make use of,
It
and
is
then
quite some
company.
industry standard, right? I mean, we put a lot of effort into the platform. So definitely, like it has a lot of strength and it does an amazing job with even automated optimization, creative based optimization, a
Mhm.
lot of tools to support, you getting the right output for your campaigns. So yep, we got the whole nine yards.
That's great. That's great. So I also noticed something that I think this is something we advise to our clients also in terms of platform. being what kind of content that you need to run on TikTok. So TikTok is, I would say, 90% or 100% video, pretty much, and it's video heavy. And I mean, for a small brand that doesn't have a lot of budgets, it might seem like you have to spend a lot in terms of funding to do productions. I need to now plan these out. Trying to launch. We are launching a new initiative around that also. But I would like to hear from you. Is TikTok costly to create? How, I mean, video development is costly. So how can a small brand sort of get engaged, be part of it,
All right, good question. That's an interesting question. Okay, so we've thought about this, about how do smaller brands or smaller advertisers also leverage this. Now we understand that, doing an entire creative production can cost you some amount of money there. But yeah, if let's say small advertiser who have existing creatives, it could be maybe a video that's not optimized for TikTok, or it could just be banner ads, that they run on other platforms, or smaller, you can say any other asset for that matter. We have something called as a video creator or a TikTok video enhancer. So what we do is within our platform, there is a feature called as smart video, and there are also video templates. So you can literally put in all your marketing material that you would have, which is maybe not optimized for TikTok. And you can choose a theme, you can choose a video template, you can choose an exit, like an exit screen, pretty much make it a TikTok friendly video. So we have like that inbuilt, and it doesn't just shoot out when you put all of these material into the platform. It wouldn't just shoot out one set of creative. It would create like 5 or 6 different sets, and the ones you like, you can use those. Then we have something called as automated optimization on those as well, where we try all of those different creatives, and basically the ones that work better, perform better, are given more bandwidth. So we have all of these tools in place. Should there be somebody who wants to use it, maybe try out without investing in the creatives directly. But my take on this is something like this, always try it, if the client doesn't want to spend too much on the creatives, once they try it, they'll be happy with the performance, and they're, trust me, going to spend on the creatives, because then they realize what is the potential of the platform. And I've seen this repeatedly through my time with TikTok. I've seen this repeatedly where we have clients who go like, guys, we think it's not like the right platform for us. There's a lot of younger audience only. Maybe it won't resonate. We don't even have the creators. And all I tell them is, guys, do a test run. Just do one test run and you're going to buy my car. Like, I know it. So it's more or less like that. And so far, we've seen a lot of success stories. We have busted a lot of myths around the platform that we see. And so definitely something you can do.
And you heard it from TikTok itself. I mean, if you want to try something out, trial it out. So you could really reach out to us and drop us a message. Also, we are glad to help you out. Maybe do some trial campaigns with you guys. See what markets you want to get into. And one more thing I want to add to what Vaibhav mentioned. We are also for any influencers or anyone in the influencer community who's joining in for the webinar. We have some exciting news. We'll be launching a registration platform for influencers, and that will be shared a bit later. So this is also stemming from the idea of creating low-cost videos for brands. And one of the things across social media, what we've seen is that the production costs are going up. And is there a better way we can leverage influencers to contribute to brands? I mean, that's happening already, but we want to take it a little step further, where we want to create a bank for our clients, and so that they can sort of utilize multiple types of influencers, different aspects of them. So there'll be some exciting news after the webinar we would like to share on that as well. So we've taken a few questions, Vaibhav. I think we can jump into a few interesting. I mean, I don't want to call you back in terms of.
No worries at all. I mean, interesting questions.
What you want to share. So, I mean, I think you can take it forward from there. Also, Vaibhav, I think we can talk a bit about maybe the advertising platform also, like how are the different ways you could access TikTok, and maybe and then we can start things off on your end as well.
For sure. Before I start, just kind of want to give you a little background. So TikTok has two ways in which you can buy ads on TikTok. One is a reservation format, which basically means that you can make a reservation for a per day basis or a particular day slot with TikTok. It can be for the 25% of the audience for the day, or 50% or 100%, entirely depending on how exactly you would want to go around it. So that's one way of buying it. And other ways are auction platform, where it's a self-serve platform. You can log in, you can create your campaigns, you can optimize your campaigns. Highly recommended for performance kind of clients. So these are the two ways in which you can buy TikTok ads. And of course, what I would want to do is walk you through a small presentation that kind of shows you what exactly we have in terms of TikTok advertising and what exactly can be done. Before I do that, I want to introduce you to something which is, like to show you a bunch of case studies, where you can find case studies and what exactly goes around that. I'm trying to share my screen, Naveen, but could you give me access, please?
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, we should be able to know.
So very first thing I want to show you here is this part of our TikTok business website. It's basically a case study library. There are more than 150 case studies and TikTok success stories on this. So if you're looking at planning campaigns, always take a look at this, because you'll pretty much find something that's similar to your vertical or a particular type of client. And you can also filter these out by regions, by brand solutions, by industries. So we have a good setup in place if you want to understand firstly how successful can TikTok advertising be. Now that I've established with proof that it can be really successful, I'm going to move to the other part of this, where I'm going to show you our basic ad offerings. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and let me know if you see it. Naveen, are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Started screen sharing.
All right. So basically, I'm going to start with, a small introduction. And if you see a crazy little astronaut down there, this picture in a nutshell kind of, defines.
Sorry, I think it's not visible for us yet. Yes, now.
Okay, perfect. So this is more of like a brief introduction, and also like, picture of a nice slumber party. I think not bad at all to introduce us. Well, TikTok is a leading destination for short form mobile video. So, we started off with a very simple, formula in mind. Our mission is to inspire creativity and bring joy. A very, interesting platform where people can post short, funny videos, or, express themselves. And eventually it boomed to become this platform, which became a platform for creative expression. It became a platform for self-expression as well, and slowly took another dimension, going into like a huge growth spiral. So that's how we got where we are, and that's TikTok in a nutshell. Pretty sure if you're aware of it, and if anybody on this webinar that's not aware of it, about time, download TikTok, get on it. So that's one part. And next part I want to introduce you to is our different ad offerings. So as you see, we have 5 different ad offerings with TikTok. 5 formats that we have to offer for our advertisers. 4 of these formats are reservation only, which basically means that we can reserve it for a particular day, or we can buy it in a package, or we can reserve it for a particular amount of audience in a day. And then we have 1 format, which is basically on the self-serve platform, auction ads, which is in-feed ads, the one that you see right in the center. What I'm going to do is, in the next part, I'm going to walk you through the details of each one of these, different formats. And then you can also see which, resonates the best for maybe some clients you would have in mind, or some activities that you would have in mind. So the very first 2 that you see here, which is called as a brand takeover and a top view, these 2 are our ad formats, which is essentially they share the same slot. So every time you open the TikTok app, the first thing you would see is an ad, and it would be one of the 2, where it would either be a brand takeover or it would be a top view. So that is why this is like, we call it a brand shout out ad, where pretty much, it's a full screen ad and the brand shouts out at it. Let me walk you through each one of these as I go. And easier seen than told. So a brand takeover is a very simple ad. One of the first thing that you would see as soon as you open the TikTok app. It's a 3 to 5 second ad, and it has no sound in the background, but it's a full screen ad, so you get maximum exposure. Just to give you an example, I'm going to play this. There you go. Very simple, very nice for the users to get a full exposure to the brand. And when you click on it, it takes you to a landing page. And the buying mechanism is on reservation. That's a very simple format. Next one we have is a top view. So essentially a top view is it's very similar to a brand takeover. Just the difference is this can be a 5 to 60-second video and it has sound in the background. That's more or less the only difference that you would see. And, a pretty interesting platform as well, a pretty interesting ad format, very high exposure. And I'm just going to play this ad as an example to show you what it looks like. And also ideally what a TikTok top view creative should look like. There you go. There you go. And when you click on it, takes you to a landing page. So very simple format. Again, the buying model is reservation only, where you can reserve it for a whole day, or maybe for a 25% audience in that day, or 50% or 100%, depending on the availability in that geo. So that's our two key formats, and these are the formats we highly recommend for brand awareness, brand outreach. If you're looking to create like a certain buzz around the brand, or if you're looking to simply seep the brand into people's subconscious minds, this is also an amazing format to use. Next one I would get to is in-feed ads. Now, in the very simple words, and as the title suggests itself, in-feed ads are basically ads that you see while you're scrolling the feed. I'm pretty sure you've seen it on other platforms too, but on TikTok as well, we have these really nice in-feed ads. Very much a part of the blend, feels like a part of the feed. It can be up to 60 seconds in length. And I'm going to play this example just to show you how it looks like on the go. As long as I'm no one can hurt you. So very simple format, a video, you click on it, goes to a landing page. Now there are three different ways in which you can buy in-feed ads. Very first being same as the others, reservation, you can reserve it for the whole day for a country. Then the other way is basically brand premium, which in simple words is fixed CPM buying. You can, we have fixed CPMs for every country, and you can choose to buy on a fixed CPM basis. The third way of buying this is via our auction platform, which is a very programmatic way. You have all the different targeting constants in place, all the optimization, your video creation tools, pretty much everything that you would need is present over there. So a simple login, set up your campaign, and it's good to go live. We have all kind of, like tweaks and twerks that you would need if you're looking at a programmatic platform or a typical ads platform. We pretty much have all the screws and bolts that you would need, and a lot of optimization constant as well. You can also buy on CPV basis, CPM basis. We also have something called as no bid now, which basically means you don't put a bid at all, and system tries to get you the lowest possible cost as possible. So that's also a very interesting concept. What we are trying to do is we are trying to make our platform really simple to use, where you don't have to worry about how to go around it, what are the averages, how to do it right. Our system will take care of it for you. Once the campaign goes in, we can analyze everything and get it sorted eventually. So that's exactly how our platform works, a very user-friendly, user-intuitive platform. And in-feed ads are the one that you can access from it. So pretty simple formats. Naveen, let me know if you think you have any questions on the first three formats.
Yes, actually, I wanted to maybe jump in a bit in the middle. Vaibhav, I think we are having a few questions also popping in. I think one has been on how TikTok can be used for a financial institution to enhance brand awareness. I think you talked about fintech brands, so maybe I don't know if you have any case studies, Park, but we can take these up later on. And also, does TikTok allow A/B testing? Like, does it have the A/B testing mechanism? Just like maybe this question also we have.
Sorry, yep, I didn't get the second question.
The A/B testing aspect, yeah, you can run multivariants. If that's something we can.
Perfect. Yeah. So I can answer the question real quick. Yeah. So firstly, for financial products, we have a lot of case studies. And at the beginning of this, when I showed the case study library, please do go check it out. And you can just sort it by finance vertical. You'll see all the work that we have done on the finance vertical. And contradictory to popular myths, TikTok does really work well for finance brands, automobile brands, and we've seen a lot of success in those areas as well. Coming to your second question, yes, there is a A/B creative testing setup as well on the auction platform. So, you can split your campaign to run into different setups so that, you can test it completely. You can test different scenarios. So yes, we are able to do that on the platform.
And just to add to that, I think I just want to connect that also in Antaira being the first partner for TikTok performance marketing. There's also a few things in terms of audience targeting which we can discuss. I mean, if you're really interested, you can reach out to us where we can help you plan out the exact audiences you might want to tap into as well. So there's a lot I think maybe Vaibhav would like to cover. I have a few questions also. Let me see if there's anything. Yeah, I mean, there's a few questions in terms of detailed targeting, etc. We can dive into those also, Vaibhav, after maybe a bit later on. And I want to mention to the audience also, if you're interested in really planning out a campaign, you can definitely give us a shout out. So, I mean, we can discuss more in detail in terms of the types of audiences that might suit your brand, like the different countries you might want to target, the compositions of demographics, etc. Some of the information you might not be able to share on this platform publicly as well. So yeah, over to you, Vaibhav.
For sure. I mean, yes. So to answer the question, if you're going to have questions about targeting, audience segments, lookalike targeting, let's say using your first party data for future campaigns, answers to all of that is definitely yes, because we are a leading platform in the industry. We wouldn't be if we didn't have like all the right optimization tools and all the right targeting tools. So be rest assured the platform is well equipped to handle like different requirements. And of course, there are always workarounds as well in case there is not something exactly to what you want. But we've never had a complaint as to a missing feature. Usually, like we make sure we accommodate, most requirements that our clients would have. And like I mentioned, our idea is to kind of help our advertisers get their right users, and at the same time maintain the atmosphere of the app. Never at all kind of overwhelm a user with ads. So that is why if you open the app, you would never notice too many ads. You would see very few ads, but still it's a lot of reach because the audience is that huge. So, we're very particular about that too, about the ad placements and how often we show ads to a user. We're very particular about these things. And so all the targeting that you would have as well.
Just a small notice to all the participants, guys. Just send your questions in. I think I'm getting a couple of questions more. So maybe we'll take all the Q&As right after the presentation. So
for sure.
Over to you, Vaibhav.
Sounds good. And the next thing, which is, one of my favorite things to, when we talk about ad formats at TikTok, is custom solutions. So we have a lot of these custom solutions for brands, these filters, so to say, that we make, which can be brand specific. And, pretty interesting way to engage the audience. And especially if you're looking at the Gen Z, the younger audience, they absolutely love these filters. And it's an amazing opportunity for the brand to get their maximum reach. Now, honestly, I'm 30, so I don't exactly get why the buzz, but I think my brother does get it. He's like 21, he's younger than me, and he uses these filters a lot. So I think I can understand to a certain level why it's like the buzz, and why exactly, it is resonating so much, especially in the younger audience. It's basically a filter in the most simple word. So if you've used different app, you would be exposed to filters, but we can make it brand specific for different brands. Now, all the examples that I'm showing you here, these are not creatives. These are basically user generated videos, which are publicly available on TikTok. So I'm just going to play these, as an example to show you. First example, something that we did for Shein, which is, an e-commerce brand. I'm just going to play this as an example of a filter we made specifically for them. There you go. And besides that, another interesting example. So basically, this particular filter is for, a client named Garena. It's a gaming app, and they had this new game launch. And so check out this filter. It's very interesting, though. There you go. So very interesting filter. And what happens with brand effect is the users use these filter and they connect with the brand in a certain way that they, cannot in ideal situation, in usual situations. Basically the reason being they're interacting directly with the brand. They're making a video with their particular filter. It kind of becomes a part of their life. It kind of becomes a part of their activity. So which is why this is amazing if you're looking at engaging the users, building a brand presence, if you're looking at getting the users excited about a particular brand. You can also make very simple filters. For example, I have a 2D one here that has hand recognition, one we did for Nike in Europe. I'm gonna play this as an example. There you go. So pretty interesting formats to kind of play around with.
You're essentially getting the user to combine the effect with their own creativity also there. I think that's a great way to connect with the brand.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of examples of this. We take care of the production of this, by the way. So just to let you know, TikTok team does the production of these brand effects. Just that we need ideas from you as to what you exactly want. A clear description of what you would want, and we would do our best to match it to your expectations. And also a bunch of other filters just to show you an example of ideally what are the different kind of things we can do with branded effects. Like let's say example, a makeup brand. Check out this filter. There you go. Let's say, for example, a brand to do with hair color. They want a playful way to promote their brand. Look at this brand effect.
Okay, I really wanted to try the effect that like changes your hair color. So y'all are gonna see my genuine reactions to that. I never considered dyeing my hair, but this makes me want to. Why do I love this so much? I really like this. Okay, I gotta go to the next one. I fuck with this too. I'm not really a fan of this one. I feel like a piece of sea kelp.
There you go. So very interesting things we can do. Also, another quick example I'm going to show you, which was a campaign in Vietnam. There you go. So very interesting things you can do, and the possibilities are endless. So it can be about how creative the brand wants to be. We have different levels in it. We've got a 2D filter, we've got a 2D Pro filter, we've got a 3D filter, we've got a special effects filter. So there is a lot of interesting, and the horizons are endless. So it depends on how creative and how engaging your client or your brand wants to get. And yep. Besides that, we've got a bunch of other offerings as well, like hashtag challenge. But before I move here, Naveen, just wanted your opinion about brand effect. As somebody seeing it from the other side, I want to just see your opinion. What do you think about the format?
I mean, that's great. I mean, it's just, I think we saw a few examples, Vaibhav, of how you can really use it on the beauty industry. But I think the options are endless. I mean, I'm just thinking, I mean, primarily the discussion today also is about how you can take things globally. So I've just had a question asking, are these filters available in Sri Lanka? So unfortunately, I don't know. I mean, you can answer that, Viber, but in terms of the ad platform, it's not so much still. But if you're a brand who wants to reach an international audience, like a travel and hospitality client, any e-commerce brand, any brand that wants to presence out of country, I think these are all available at the moment.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, yep. So you answered the question. Thank you, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So something also interesting that I want to talk about today is a hashtag challenge. Now, somebody who vividly uses TikTok would know what this is about and would be quite excited about it. I would call it like a one of a kind, and I think this particular format is a revolution in the let's say advertising industry in general, in my opinion. If you look at the way users can engage with the brand directly, kind of build a bond with the brand, that is really mind-blowing if you look at this very closely. Just to give you an example of what a hashtag challenge is, so you can basically market a particular hashtag related to a brand on TikTok. you can throw in a challenge on the platform where you can have people participate in a particular activity or a particular dance, and they can make like things related to the brand. It's
Right.
just their way of kind of making a fun approach to market the brand. But
Yeah.
in the end, the users are actually interacting with the brand. They're interacting with the brand, they're making videos related to the brand, or just a fun way of engaging with the brand. In this case, what happens is the users bond with the brand. They never forget a brand for which they've made a video themselves, right? I mean, and that
Yeah.
is next level engagement. That is really kind of a way in which the users can bond with their favorite brands on TikTok.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to play this as an example to show you how a hashtag challenge works on TikTok. So there you go. You see all the trending hashtags right there. And
Right.
one which is the hashtag challenge at the moment, which is basically one of our ad formats, is nicely marketed up as a banner. If you see on top, there you go. If you check out this particular slide, you can see it has a nice banner right here.
So
So
just
when
to
you click
clarify
on-
the Vaibhav, just to step in. So for hashtag ad formats, you can pretty much you get this sort of landing page or view
That's
for
correct.
your brand, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you kind of get a nice banner here, and when you click on it, it takes you to the hashtag challenge page where it gives you some more information about the hashtag. It shows
Right.
you different users who have participated, and we can put a few videos which we get from the client as creative, which basically feature here as official, and then users can directly participate with the brand and kind of be a part of the brand. I think it's a very fun way in which we would want to interact with brand. Now if you look at personally me as an audience too, I would want to interact with a brand or an ad in this way, which is a fun way, interactive way, more than just seeing ads that I have to scroll past. So which is why I think this is a very revolutionary format, and it kind of takes I mean, to put it in the most odd sense, it takes the advertising out of advertising. It's a very fun way to look at it. Basically it's an ad, but it wouldn't look like one, it wouldn't feel like one. It makes it a fun way for the users to interact. And let me give you an example of what it looks like. So first I'm going to show you one of the official videos of this campaign, and then I'll show you one of the user generated videos of this campaign. There you go. There you go. So that was basically the official video. And now I'm going to show you one of the user generated videos right here. There you go. There you go. So pretty interesting format and a lot you can do with this. Again, it depends on the creativity. The possibilities here are endless. And we have a lot of hashtag challenge case studies towards the end of this as well. I'm going to walk you through like a small case study about what, when, all of these formats come together, how they kind of, get it done for the brand. So I'm going to walk you through that as well. Before we move to that, also you can combine the two ad formats I showed you, the hashtag challenge and the brand effect. You can combine the two formats and make it even more interesting and fun for the users to interact with. I'm going to play one of the user generated videos here for Fanta in Thailand. There you go. So pretty interesting ways in which you can market these and, kind of create that buzz about the brand on the platform and directly reach your audience on the base level. So I haven't thought of anything, that could be more innovative if you're looking at building a brand presence. So definitely a very engaging, a very interesting format. And that brings me to the next part. Before I move, any questions for me, Naveen, or anything from the Q&A I should answer for now?
No, not at the moment, but I
Right.
think we have a few questions in terms of how detailed we can get in terms of targeting and all that we could touch a bit later.
Perfect. And yep, so moving on, then we also have our amazing auction ads, all the targeting, creative tools, bidding, data reports, conversion. I wouldn't go very much in depth of this because, it's pretty much we are all used to working on different platforms. So, if we can walk into one, we can definitely walk into other as well. And should there be a requirement, we are happy to like go in the details as well. but a very interesting platform with all the targeting capabilities, screws, nuts, bolts that you would need to make your advertising to the point. We pretty much have all of those. I'm just going to play this video as an example to show you ideally what a TikTok creative should look like if you're running on the auction platform. Now, keep in mind, this is what it should ideally look like. In case you don't have a creative like this, or you're not making a custom creative, it doesn't mean that you can't market on TikTok. We still have these amazing creative tools I told you about. You can play around with those as well. Just to give you an example, I'm going to play this.
Don't be suspicious. Ready? Yeah, I got the app. We need pillows.
Where would they be? They got it. Oh, no nights we need them tight. That's nice and fine.
They got it here on H9.
I want cookies.
Oh, please stop begging.
They got them on A27. I think that's it. This is lit.
Oh, wait.
Can't forget the switch.
There you go. It's a pretty interesting format, and you can always try to achieve your, let's say, conversion goals or lower funnel goals with auction ads on TikTok. So yeah, pretty much that kind of sums up more or less.
On this, Vaibhav, I have a few questions. I think this is sort of an area we would love to offer to our clients. Also, in terms of the, I think, targeting, there are multiple, I believe, we can position the brand based on the demographic, the devices, and the audiences.
Yep.
So I'm thinking now, if you want to reach a certain kind of an audience, maybe who are in a certain, let's say, a certain tier in terms of, disposable income, for example, can we target people of a certain, who are using a certain device, a certain level of a, phone,
Sure, yes.
similar to like what the platforms have with the others. What kind of, are there any deeper segregations we can do in terms of targeting, maybe?
For sure. I mean, it starts all the way up from, geo targeting, city targeting, all the way down to device targeting, pretty much, let's say, user interest, user category, user behavior, all of these levels, it goes down the funnel. Yep, interest group, age group, gender, device cost, the price range of the device they are using, pretty much all the granular targeting features. So you would get all of those. Yeah.
And one of the things we've seen, some of the platforms combine is the ability to sort of narrow down to like the disposable income, stuff like that, like with third-party information. Do you have that kind of mix match that we can bring into the audience also, like,
Okay, so it may not be the exact categories and the criteria that you see on other platforms, but yeah, you can pretty much, mix and match, and you can try out different targeting. So you would definitely get access to those on the platform.
Sure, understood. Perfect, great.
All right. Okay, so any other questions for now?
Not on that vibe of that.
All right.
Yeah.
So this pretty much brings me to an end of this presentation. I kind of didn't want to make it too long so that you all still stay interested in it. Yep, what I want to show you now is, before I kind of wrap up with this presentation, is what happens when you bring all these beautiful ad formats, all this massive TikTok audience together and market your brand to them with the help of all of these formats. I think what happens when you actually bring all of these together, it's a beautiful symphony. And what I'm going to show you now is just an example of what TikTok can do for a brand. There you go. And of course, suggest you to watch the video carefully, because it has some very interesting things that you might want to look at.
Peloton, Gen Z's got a pretty low tolerance for advertising bull.
Who comes up with this?
So to promote the new Samsung Galaxy A to a generation that has turned their backs on Samsung, we didn't make another bullshit ad. We figured if Gen Z's on their phone 24/7, three things matter: an awesome screen, awesome camera, and long-lasting battery life. And so we enlisted the help of K-pop band Blackpink to make an original track with those exact words and zero bullshit.
Awesome screen, awesome camera, long-lasting battery
And a
life.
dance.
Awesome screen, awesome camera, long-lasting battery life. Awesome screen, awesome camera.
Turning what older gens called a jingle into what Gen Z calls a challenge on their favorite hangout spot.
For those of you over 35, TikTok is an app where people post short, funny videos.
Of you doing fun stuff like lip syncing to a song or a movie clip or acting out a silly scene with your friends.
We dropped the Dance Awesome Challenge And TikTokers answered day after day after day. 4 million user videos to be specific. That's more than 1 million minutes of people dancing about the Galaxy A's features. I mean, everyone knows Gen Z makes a ton of content, but who would have guessed they'd make this many ads for the Galaxy A? People even created content about the content, like dance tutorials and animations.
Awesome screen, awesome camera, long-lasting battery life. So catchy.
Which meant social conversations about Samsung increased 19-fold, and purchase intent for the Galaxy A went through the roof. Dance Awesome has garnered over 16 billion views to date, making our song the most played song on the platform, and more than Yummy by Justin Bieber that launched the same week on Spotify. Sound unbelievable? Go over to TikTok and see for yourself. And while you're there, you'll notice that Samsung didn't just get a few new followers, they became one of the most popular brands on TikTok.
Dance with us. Long-lasting battery life.
There you go. So that's more or less in a nutshell what TikTok can do for a brand. And I hope that kind of answers a lot of questions right there. Just to specify, this campaign, the one that I just showed you the case study for, was run by RGA, a very nice agency in New York. And, they were the ones behind the planning and the execution of this, particular campaign. And TikTok was the platform that, got this result. So I guess that kind of answers a lot of questions as to how effective TikTok advertising can be.
And the approach you should sort of take when you deal with TikTok. So I mean, that's awesome, Vaibhav. I mean, that was a really refreshing presentation. I feel the advertising platform insights is not something that is exposed to the Sri Lankan audience as much. So I mean, that was really refreshing, and I think we touched on a certain component of TikTok. I think there's another different component we will definitely try to catch on in terms of how do you create content, what kind of content you should create for your brand. And just one thing I've noticed, there were several repeated questions in terms of people who are joining in today asking whether the TikTok ad platform is available in Sri Lanka. Unfortunately not. And this topic today is actually also on how do you take the brand globally. So if you're interested in taking a global brand presence, creating a presence for your brand in different countries, different demographics, different interest-based, then definitely that's something you can reach out to us and talk to. And also one thing that a question asked was whether it has app install campaigns. I'm assuming that the call to actions can be used in a similar way, right?
Yep, we also have a lot of case studies for mobile app-based clients, and we have all the tools to even optimize down the funnel, such as post-install events, lot to do with the user, the retention as well. So we can pretty much, optimize based on different constraints when it comes to mobile app campaigns.
Understood. Yes. So I think we'll open up for questions also, and then while things are moving in, we have a few minutes to spare today. Although we planned for 45 minutes, it's almost an hour, which is great. There's a lot of inputs people are asking from. So, there are a few questions like hashtag challenge costing, what's market specific details. I think those are some of the conversations we might have to take based on the certain scenario. So let's say, for example, you want to advertise for India, you can, really get into the platform and we can give you some insights in terms of what is the demographics like, what is the composition is like, what are the age groups are like based on that certain situation, right? So how?
Usually there are, it depends on, the geo they want to market in majorly. It differs mostly only by geos. Besides that, there are not much pricing constraints in place. And hashtag challenge is a campaign that's supposed to be viral. It's supposed to resonate. So there is no age targeting or any kind of targeting in place. It's more of an open campaign. So prices are by country, and more or less that's how it goes.
Right. Yeah. So I think in terms of just to wind up, close up the conversation today, I think it was really good. So the primary objective for us today was to sort of introduce all of you guys to the ad platform of TikTok, because I think TikTok as a platform and what people do on TikTok is generally already there. I mean, it's gained a lot of prominence in Sri Lanka. So, I mean, needless to say, we were not expecting to talk about, how to create how to be creative, what kind of, content to, create. But from a brand's perspective, I think the key takeaway for me was that, TikTok has grown so much, and it's now started to cover a lot of age groups. And even if you think, it's primarily for the young audience, there's definitely an audience you can capture through a proper targeted campaign. So, I mean, if you want to target a certain, even 30 plus, or a certain age group who might be interested in, let's say, financial products, you can really do that through the ad platform, is what we gathered. And the other thing is that, from my perspective, is if you're a brand that is looking at, going international, you should sort of, like we reiterated earlier, you should look at your digital ecosystem as a whole and how each platform can connect. Your TikTok ad that you're running should also resonate with maybe, at least the thematic that you're trying to push through your website, the audience that you're trying to reach. So you can really utilize the power of TikTok to reach a certain brand audience and create a really engaging content. And when they are interested, for example, they see the ad, they click on the ad, and then they need to come to the website, and they should sort of get that same experience on the website level as well. So you should always look at how you increase your digital ecosystem and plug additional platforms into the ecosystem as well. So we have a few questions. Let me see if these are on. So is filters available in Sri Lanka? Vaibhav?
I mean, in general, we are not monetizing Sri Lanka as a market right now.
Yeah.
But
You can answer that also.
we are opening new markets every time. So when it's available, definitely there'll be a pretty much an announcement for it. And I mean, we recently opened Cambodia as well as a geo. So we're slowly opening more and more geos as and when we have that kind of demand or audience in the region. But yeah, so sooner or later we'll definitely be opening, but no news on the plate as of now.
Another interesting question, Vaibhav, if you want to answer, I don't know if you want to mention brands, but how is TikTok going to compete with Instagram Reels in future? What's more in TikTok future?
Okay. Firstly, we don't think there needs to be that kind of it can be a healthy competition. It doesn't need to be like a bad competition or something to worry about. I think every platform in itself is different. We have, every platform has its own strengths, has its own ways in which it resonates with the audience. So I wouldn't compare it, at least as of now, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course. Right, great. And some interesting questions like how important, I mean, use of sounds. I mean, I think it's fairly important, as regardless of the platform. So the question is importance of sound on the platform.
Yeah,
I think that's
definitely that's an interesting question. So in case you want to use sounds for, let's say, any of your campaigns, we do have an audio library as well from TikTok. That's basically all the music which we authorize to use on the platform. So you can have access to that, and you can pretty much pick from that as well. Alternatively, if you want to use any other sound on the platform, as a background for your ads, you would have to, be able to produce proof that you have the copyrights to kind of use it on TikTok. So we would need that from the client. We're very particular about that. So yes, definitely.
That's great. And there is a question about the how to understand what are the trending hashtags, and how you can start a trend. So I mean, I want to maybe add a little input for that. Regardless, I mean, I think going viral, I think is something that every brand would love to do. I think it needs to combine a certain level of creativity and an authenticity that brand represent, is in my opinion. And you should probably try to find the right influencers also in getting that done. So there's multiple ways, in my opinion. You can create videos, you can do your own production, or you can even get influencers to contribute. So you can pick the influencers who you think are really good and who suits your brand, and get into a creative engagement with them and try to create some content on the trending hashtags and stuff like that. Vaibhav, do you have any insights on that?
Yeah, well, definitely you should keep an eye on the trending hashtags section. And it's also about studying a bit, the geo that you want to market in, find out what's the kind of content that resonates in that region, what are the kind of hashtags that are going in that region, and then you can plan accordingly. I mean, typically, yes, if you're looking to run it as a campaign, we can pretty much, run based on what you think would be ideal for the brand and, is approved by our ads team as well. But I would always suggest this: study the market before you go into that. Just check out TikTok, see what's actually trending in that region. What kind of content is working better in the region, what kind of things resonate for the audience, and then you build a strategy. So
Definitely. I think that's really important as well. Awesome. So I think we are almost at the end, and I just want to give a short announcement to those who are joining in. We will be publishing our influencer registration platform, and if there are anyone who's listening in who are interested in partnering with us, even a brand who wants to sort of source relevant influencers to work with their brand to get in contact with the content, please check that out. We'll keep updates going on our page. And a big thank you to Vaibhav, who's been our partner in TikTok and making this happen. And it has been a really amazing webinar for us. Really interesting, Vaibhav, really good stuff. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me as well. It was nice talking.
Great, awesome. Okay, so thanks, guys. We'll close for today, and we'll be in touch soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.